Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, you know, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Hello, welcome back to the Psych Legal Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
And it is Sister Wives, Season 18, Episode 12, Can't See the Forest for the Trees.
Oh, so, I want to know if you've got your poop in a group, because that was new.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that means.
If someone can explain what that means.
Yeah.
Because that's a new one.
Never heard of that before. But I definitely can tell you Kody doesn't have his poop in a group.
Oh, no.
Whatever it means.
Well, it was funny because I don't know if Pedal Monkey listened to all these podcasts where all these podcasts were talking about how there was no original content. It was all just flashbacks because this episode, it was better and it didn't have all those flashbacks. But the funniest thing too is they finally sent a camera crew to Parowan. You know, it's like, so it was almost like Pedal Monkey's like, God damn it, we're going to have to get rid of all these, and we got to send someone up to Parowan to see Meri. Yeah,
but you notice they only did it for part of her scenes.
Yes.
They did it for the scenes with Blair and Jen. But then when she was talking about having to cut down these
trees,
I was trying to think of what kind of trees they were. Were they, I don't
Redwood?
know. Whatever. I don't know what they were. But anyway, when she was doing that, she was back to her iPhone.
Yes.
So
yes,
they threw her a little bone.
But it was just kind of like, okay, I guess they finally spent some money and they decided to, finally send someone down there to film Meri properly. So that's exciting for her. And obviously they had someone in, because it looked like it, right? They had someone in Salt Lake City too.
Yeah.
For that party.
Yeah. And then there was something else. Well, someone had to film. Oh, yeah. When Kody came over to Janelle's new apartment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, there were several. So the camera crews were places. I guess I just think it's so funny how this is so different than last episode. It was just like, did you listen to all the criticism? And then we're like, God damn it.
Well, no, this was filmed and edited months ago.
I know. But
yeah, so we start out in Salt Lake City where Christine is turning 50 and she's having a 50s themed birthday party. And they have a food truck and they have milkshakes and sodas and everybody's dressed up.
Except for Peyton.
Oh,
Did you notice that? Peyton wore army fatigues.
Yeah. Well, and also Gabe and Garrison, they made more of an effort, but they had Hawaiian shirts on.
Yeah, I didn't quite get the look. It was not flattering. And it was weird.
50s. But you know that Garrison, I think that's Garrison's business. He has a business where he makes and sells Hawaiian shirts.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me I'm like 50s, I'm like scrolling through 50 parties, a food truck. What? Oh, I didn't know that. Hawaiian shirts. Interesting.
I think those are his shirts, which is why they were wearing them. They're trying to promote themselves now.
They need money. Yeah. They're on their own.
Cody's not going to help them.
And and they're not getting any of this good Sister Wives money. So they need to make it where they can. And he's got a mortgage now.
That's right. He's the hardest working man in show business.
Oh my God.
I love him.
Yeah. Avalon, she was so cute in that little 50s outfit. I'm sorry. That was the cutest thing I've ever seen. I have to say.
She's a very cute little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Looks nothing like her parents.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but she is a cute little thing. And that little, with the little poodle skirt and all that, I thought she was very cute. So,
well, so this was kind of weird. So before the party got started, there was this strange scene in the kitchen with Christine and McKelty and Tony, where it was like they had to announce again.
Yeah.
I guess for the camera crew, because last time it was just an iPhone.
Yeah.
Filmed thing. So it's like they're announcing officially to the camera crew that McKelty is pregnant, and that I guess at the party they're going to announce to everybody that she's pregnant with twins.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said something that I thought was really strange. And I thought Christine was way, way, way too understanding about. She said that she had told Robyn and Kody she was pregnant before her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she had some lame excuse that it was because she had morning sickness and Robyn had morning sickness, but her mom didn't. And Christine's just standing there going, smiling. And then she has this confessional where she's like, oh, I think it's great. I think it's great that, McKelty has this relationship with them. And she's the bridge. She's the bridge. It's like, you know what, Christine, it's okay to be
hurt
by that. I would be.
Yeah.
McKelty's weird.
Mm-hmm.
She's really strange. And I think that's very hurtful. And you can get advice about morning sickness on the internet. Go ask Robyn. Like, she has all the answers,
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, I thought it was odd. I don't know if it was one of these things I wonder if McKelty feels guilty about the fact that Kody and Robyn are so siloed, and that maybe she was like, oh, I'm going to throw Robyn a bone, and give her this one thing. But of course, they interview Robyn and she's just like, yes, it was nice to be able to be the first person. It's like there's no enthusiasm. There's nothing from her.
Really.
Like, but it was nice. I like to be the first person that she told. It's like, oh God, Robyn. Someone's finally reaching out to you, Robyn. You should be happy. This is what you wanted this whole time. Like, someone doing it. Like, pep it up a little bit, lady.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing that was driving me crazy is this whole thing about, like, I wrote this down. I said, why do we need to focus on the twin thing? Why do we need an explanation about the twins? Like,
right.
Oh, well, Tony doesn't have twins on his side, but Kody has a niece that's, had some kids and they're twins. And it's like, who the F cares? Why do we don't care. We don't care. Like, okay, you're having twins. Lots of people have twins.
It happens.
Lots of people have twins naturally. I think people always assume that it's got to do with IVF or something. It's like, no, I mean, people have twins all the time. Like, why do we need to focus on this so much? I don't know. But I think the editors forgot, like, oh, crap, that's right. We did have that in earlier. Well, who cares? Let's just keep going.
Yeah. I don't know. So, yeah. And then later when they're outside, McKelty announces to everybody that she's having twins. And Janelle was really very moved. Everyone was like, God, I've never seen Janelle cry before.
Yeah, it was very emotional.
Shed a tear. So, and then cut to Robyn saying, well, it really stung, that me and my kids weren't invited to Christine's birthday party. And it's like, really? Did you really expect to be invited to Christine's birthday party?
Well,
you must be kidding.
Yeah. I mean, and also there's a lot of adults there, like Kody. Rob go alone or just her kids? Or how do you think all of this is going to work? And do you really think that if you turned to Kody and said, we got an invite to Christine's birthday party, that he's going to say, yes, you can go, or let's all go?
No. He's always talking about how Christine betrayed him.
Yeah.
She kicked him out and there is no way Kody would be like, oh, that's fun. I'm not going, but you guys go have fun.
Uh-huh.
Never.
No.
Never in a million years. Even if they were invited. So that's ridiculous.
But the guilt, like the kind of like the sad guilt victim, like, come on, Robyn. Like, you got to be crazy. You got to be like, kidding me.
Once again, me and my kids we're being mistreated and left out.
Yeah, please.
Whatever.
Well, and Christine's up for it. She says she believes that Robyn's kids should be around, but just not here. And I don't blame her. Not here. This is her party and her birthday. Like, she's had Kody at a bunch of other ones, and they haven't been great.
Right. And it was very much like this was Christine's first. She's 50. This is her first birthday on her own. She's so happy. She's exuberant. Why the hell would she want Kody there?
Yeah.
To remind her, or Robyn, or any of them, to remind her of what she left behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. She's, she's on a new life
now. But I do say that Christine has made me hopeful for birthday wishes, because what Christine wished for came true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She manifested it.
Yeah, she manifested that for sure. So when I went back and I looked, so Christine's birthday is April 18th. So we've gone back in time again. So this has all happened before we see where she and Janelle are having, Janelle's birthday and all of that. I'm like,
and that trip,
now we're here.
The trip where she came and got the rental house.
Yes.
And they were talking about the date with Kody. Yeah. This is really just ping pong.
So weird. And why? It's like, it'd be one thing if it was a theme of something, but it's like, what, you could put this earlier when it was the right time frame. Like, why do you keep moving stuff around? Are you that desperate? I mean, maybe they're that desperate for content, and I don't know. I really don't know. But then we get into this whole other thing that they sort of shoehorn in there about how Christine starts talking about how she was so excited when polygamy was decriminalized in Utah. And, then we have to like hit everybody in the family and ask them the same question of like, what would have happened if you all, the minute got decriminalized, you all went back to Utah? What would change? And, everyone's answers were exactly what we thought they would be. It's like, it's the same goddamn, like, anyway, Robyn were like, maybe it would have helped us. Cody's like, no, it wouldn't have helped us. Christine's evil, Christine's like, well, it would have just prolonged it for me. Right. And Janelle, of course, is practical. She's like, no, COVID drove big wedges, and it's Cody's preference for Robyn. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, well, again, this is just a producer question where they're trying to create content for the show. So they asked everybody, well, what do you think would have happened if, you guys had all gone back to Utah after polygamy was decriminalized? They're just like fishing for content. Yeah. It's like, we know what you're doing, and this is super boring.
Yes, it is.
And we don't care.
Yes.
And here's what I love. This was the greatest. The end of the party, Janelle says that this was the greatest family party she'd ever been to. No drama, no politics, no waiting on somebody because they're late.
I wonder who's late.
Kody. Yeah.
How do you think it's Kody?
Oh, God. He's 2 hours late for everything. So anyway, it was a huge success.
Yeah, mostly, and that party did not look.
Kody weren't there.
Yeah, but also that's really sad that the best family party she's been to, because quite frankly, that did not look fun. I mean, these people were like, "Ooh, alcohol cake! Alcohol!
Oh yeah,
there's alcohol in the cake." I'm like, okay, great.
I have never heard of I know there's rum cake at Christmas time. Have you ever seen that? Alcohol, a birthday cake with alcohol in it?
Well, but do you watch the Great British Baking Show?
No.
The greatest show ever? Oh my God. You've heard of it, right?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great show. And they, you see them all the time in that show. The bakers are always putting alcohol in various things. Like you can put alcohol in anything if you wanted to. And they put alcohol in lots of things, but I was always, alcohol burns off.
Right.
So you can't get drunk from it. No one's getting high or hammered. So why is there like, ooh,
I know. If you put a cake in the oven, I don't care how much alcohol's in it, it's all going to burn off by the time you're finished baking it, right?
Yeah. So I was just like, why? I mean, I can understand if someone wants to abstain, or you're pregnant and you want to be a little mindful of it. But even,
Yeah.
I don't know, even as a pregnant person, I think you could probably have the alcohol cake. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's hurtful or harmful or of any way, because I don't think it's all the alcohol gets burned off.
Yeah,
Right?
well, yeah, that's my understanding. And
Yeah,
as
but
we-
maybe we're wrong.
as we saw from Christine's family's trip to, England and Ireland and Scotland,
Yes.
they were drinking their way through the
Yeah.
continents there, and Janelle appears to have taken up drinking as well. So I think they're just into it. You know what? It's like they're people who've been deprived of any fun for so long. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we can do this. We can do whatever we want. you know?
Yeah.
Not this evil ogre saying, you shouldn't be doing this or doing that and shaming people and whatever. They're just, it's like their room spring god, when the Amish people get to go out into
Yes.
the world.
And see, that's a much interesting show. Take me with all of
Yeah.
you while you sort of experience coffee. Let me see that.
Right.
Like
Well, you
alcohol.
a pub crawl.
Yeah. Like, okay, let's all get high. Let's see that. Like, I like to see that. Like, let's see some debauchery here. Like, that's a show I'd watch.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so then we go over to Parowan. And then this is the other thing that drives me nuts. Okay. This time, for some reason, like I felt so upset about last week's episode that this week I was like ready to be pissed. But again, why do we need this full update from Meri? Like, Meri's like, well, so I've decided to move my clothing business to, right? She tells all of us.
For the 15th time.
Yes.
We know.
And even if you are some sort of alien and you landed and you decided to turn on TLC to Sister Wives season 18, episode 12, I think you could figure out what's happening here without her telling any of this.
Right.
Why do they keep doing this test? Is it truly because they're like, we don't have content, so we have to shove it in there?
Yes.
Then just make a shorter season. I mean,
she, out of all the people, I think, because she has so little content, she does the most repetitive, repeating. She's on the couch in her same outfit, repeating the same story like over and over, and they're just regurgitating it. But we did get some actual new content.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
we meet her friend Blair, who's an interior designer and who really likes Botox.
Yes, he's ready for his camera show.
Oh,
What is
yes.
that? Ready for my close-up.
Yes. Oh, yes. He got fresh Botox and the
Yes.
lip injections. It's like,
Exactly.
ooh,
He's
yeah.
shiny. He's
Yes.
tanned. He's like camera ready.
Yes. He heard Meri told him, oh my God, a camera crew's coming. One cameraman's coming. A cameraman's coming. And that Blair
like,
was like, I
tell
gotta
me-
call
tell me
my
where."
dermatologist. I
Tell
gotta
me
get,
where and when.
yes.
Well, and then it comes out later that she met Blair online.
Yes. And of course, collectively, everyone's like, what?
Everyone's like,
Again.
"Uh-oh."
Yeah. And then
But-
she has to explain that,
Right.
we have to go back in time for that.
Right. And then she says that she meets a lot of people online through
Mhm.
her clothing business.
Yes.
But now she knows better. She knows to verify them, to immediately have a video chat. But the thing is, okay, Blair is a gay man. He's not shopping for LuLaRoe.
Yeah.
He sought her out for the fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He contacted her. He's a fan.
Mhm.
Okay. He's a Sister Wives fan. He knows Meri is prone to like making friends with people online. So he sought her out.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really, he's been working on this for months.
Yes. Oh, yes. Ay. Well, and then we have the whole Meri catfish thing, and Meri, of course, has to. And I have to say, I really feel for Meri with this one, because it's like, God, that must be so embarrassing to have to keep like replaying that and how embarrassing it is. And then she said that even people in her own family don't believe her or her version of events. I'm like, who in your family doesn't believe you? Like,
Probably
this is what we
Kody.
need. this is what we need. This is the information we need. Like, who in your family isn't happy with this? Like, let's hear about that. That's good information for sure. But she says, I know my truth. And then the other weird thing is, so she wants to, Blair's all excited. He has the plans, but Meri can't look at them until Jen gets there because Jen's been a big part of this process. And I need to have her there. But she's going to have a dressing room in it so that people can come. So is this, maybe you're thinking people from the inn, like people who are spending the night at the inn are going to want to come out to the Carrriage House? And
because Parowan's out in the middle of nowhere, from what I understand.
So what? So. Or is this part of these? I know she's been trying to do these retreats. Mm-hmm. So are you hoping to sell clothes to these people? It just seemed like that seemed like a lot of. It's not a big space, and a dressing room's a lot, a big space there, and you're going to take up all of that for 4 or 5 people. Why couldn't they just walk into the house?
I don't know. She wants to make it an experience. Yeah, I think you're right. I think she's trying to tie it to these retreats that she's trying to push. You know, it's like, oh, and when you're here, you can try on all the LuLaRoe leggings you want to.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the package. Spend the night. If you spend the night, one night, 1 pair of pants. 2 nights, 2 pairs of pants. So we then get Robyn, because I realized we got no new content with Robyn, just interviews. Mm-hmm. And Robyn, of course, is like, yeah, I knew Jen too. But, you know, she wishes she could have more of a light relationship with Meri. Who do you have a light relationship with, Robyn, anyway?
Yeah, nobody.
But Robyn says her role with Meri is to console each other and help each other through trauma.
Yeah. The trauma, of, I guess, Christine and now Janelle
being in this family.
The family.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, okay.
She's like Eeyore, you know. She's just Robyn is Eeyore.
But then she goes on to, she's like, oh, I'm jealous. You know, I wish I had that kind of relationship with Meri. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, but why don't you then visit Meri? Like, go there and see her. Or I don't know, like, invite her over to the house. She made it, you know, the one piece of information that we did get is that you don't ever invite her anywhere.
And when you invite her for Easter or whatever the last thing was. Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime you're so, this is this victim stuff that drives me nuts. It's like, so you're so desperate to have a relationship with this person, but you're not willing to do anything to make it better. And the one way in which you can relate to her is by moaning and consoling each other and being in this trauma together.
Right. Trauma bonding.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my God.
It's really depressing.
Yeah, it is. But,
and so Meri says that no one else in the family knows about this project, only Jen, because she only wants to share this project with people who are going to be happy for her. And this is her special thing. And it's like, okay, I get that. Why would you tell any of these other people? They don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't.
None of them give a shit about you, Meri. I hate to say it. But yeah, you don't need to share anything with them. You need to move on, find new friends. I'm glad she has Blair and Jen. And there's someone else. I don't know who it is. There were all these, you know, she went to Disneyland. I think.
I thought she went with Blair.
Is that Blair?
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
It was. I don't know. This Blair on the show looked much more polished, but there was this other guy. Maybe it's Blair's husband.
Oh, that could be it. Maybe she knows them as a couple.
Yeah, they were at Disneyland together, and she also posted they've gone hiking together with. Yes, make new friends, Meri.
Yes,
make new friends.
Yeah, that's a life I would want to insert myself into. Yeah, make friends.
Yeah,
but yeah, and I think what's so interesting, and we see this theme because this is what we hear from Christine, and this is what we hear from Janelle, is Meri saying it's nice to have someone to share something with. Mm-hmm. Right. So it shows you how utterly neglected this woman has been. Like she's had no one to share. And this is like a renovation of a small little thing. And she's so grateful to have someone to talk to. I mean, she must have been really lonely, like really lonely for a long time. And it's heartbreaking. And I have to say, I liked Blair's designs. I actually I like exposed brick and wood. I don't love steampunk. Yes, I like industrial. I don't know about the steampunk so much, but like I like all of that. And so I think I liked the designs and what they were going to do. And I thought it was, and I too, Meri, I actually also with you, I don't really like circles. I like squares. I like square plates and, I had a square diamond, for my engagement ring. Like I like square. I'm with you, Meri, on that one.
How do you feel about white? How do you feel about a white island?
I don't mind the white. I really don't. I think that, but I think that's such a preference, and I think I see what she's talking about, it being so stark. I don't know, but I usually defer to whomever the person is that has style to like tell me, not as rigid as Meri is on some of these things, but I don't have an issue with white.
And then they had to do the flashbacks to
the
Vegas houses where Meri was just, a control freak, and she was like, "Oh my God, this thing is half an inch off to the right. You've got to redo it." And I think these aren't even, and the wet bar got brought up again. God. It was all of it.
Well, and she talks about this. She talks about how she was a control freak and how she, needed to control, and that it's important to her and has opinions and all of that. And she does admit like that's something that she's working on. She needs to look at it and all of that. But the more you hear about Meri's life, the more it makes sense. The more you're kind of like, you know what? You probably didn't feel like you had any control and any other aspect of your life. And this man never paid attention to you. But if you had a hissy fit at the house about something being slightly off, Kody would engage with you. Maybe not positively, but at least he's engaging with you. I really feel like I feel like she had that inside of her, but I wonder if it got really bad. It got worse and worse as the marriage and everything got worse and worse. And I'd be curious to see what happens like 3 years from now, if she's now that she's on her own with Jen and these people that really care about her, if she would stop being so controlling. I don't know. We'll see.
I think she alluded to that. I think she kind of admitted that like that was the only way that she could get attention, or
it's sad.
Even negative attention is attention. If you're not getting any attention at all. So then we shift over to Janelle and Kody.
Yeah, we're back at Flagstaff,
such as they are. And Kody's trying to talk about reconciling with Janelle. And
Janelle's new apartment is a lot nicer.
Oh yeah,
it's huge.
I'm very happy she moved, but like basically he's saying he's trying to reconcile. And Janelle's like, no, he's really not. He's not making any effort. It's not, calling her up and saying, "I miss you, I love you, let's work this out," whatever.
Or calling the counselor that they agreed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Kody, I guess now, he's seeing Savannah every couple weeks. He'll take her out to dinner, big whoop. But he wants to come over to her new apartment. And it was so funny, like right when they're filming, they're inside the apartment. Kody knocks on the door. Janelle's sitting there on the couch, and, Kody knocks and she knows it's him, and she's just like, you know what I mean? Like she has this sigh, like, you know what? I don't really want to see this guy. And she says, she's like, this is my space. And I really enjoyed like not having Kody here. And I don't really want Kody in my space, but she's doing it for her daughter and she's doing it for the show. But you can tell that she would just, might as well just have him never like because he brings in this energy into her house that, she doesn't want there. And I was like, I felt that like,
well, the knock at the door was so startling. Like, it just because it was so quiet in there. And then all of a sudden there was this knock. And and what's interesting is that and we've heard this many times, that Kody is feeling pathetic because Janelle's rejecting him, and Janelle's saying he's not trying, so why am I going to try? And I'm happier, right? But it's just, and I may have said this in the past, but I just, you know what's so interesting is I just don't think Kody has any concept on how to do this. Like, yes, he has courted 4 wives, but he really doesn't know how to be a partner or I don't think it has occurred to him once that, oh, I should call the counselor. We talked about that. I don't think it's occurred to him that he should be calling her and telling her that she loves him, any of that. I don't think he has even thought of it. All he's thinking about is, how does it look to the outside world? And, well, can I at least come over to your house? Or is there space for me? Am I, the insult of the fact that this is her place and not his felt so big to him that and instead of taking that and realizing like, oh my God, I've been siloed and what do I need to do differently here? It's like, that's his reason for being like, she doesn't want me. Okay, forget it. Yeah. I'm like, that's your big wooing? That's your big.
Yeah. It's like he's incapable of making any effort. He literally thought that he was going to show up to that first dinner that they had at Salsa Brava.
Oh, yeah.
The big fight. He was all excited. And he thought that she was just going to take him back and everything was going to be fine. And when she said, no, I want to stay separated, the look on his face was just like utter shock.
Yeah.
Because he has never had to do anything to either woo these women or keep them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, with the exception of maybe Meri, obviously Robyn, but I mean, Janelle and Christine, he was just sort of like, okay. Like they wanted to join the family, and he was like, okay, and made no effort to ever make them feel special or nothing. Well, we know. It's like a broken record, but it's super, super awkward. Yeah, and he's walking around and he's saying, oh, wow, this is so much bigger. And, she's kind of showing him around and it's just so awkward. It's really awkward. And then the producers ask Kody, first Cody's asking Savannah a bunch of dumb questions like she's a 3-year-old. He's like, so do you like it here? Yeah. You like it better than your last apartment? Yeah. Do you like it better than the RV?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's such a clown.
Yeah.
And then the producer asks him, obviously, what is your relationship with Savannah? Or maybe he asked it. Yeah, must have been that. Because he says, oh, my relationship with Savannah is sweet and gentle. Not like, oh, I love Savannah. She's this, she's nothing specific.
Yeah.
Then he goes right into Gabe and Garrison again.
Yes.
I haven't been in touch with Gabe and Garrison for quite a while. It's sad. And then he says he hopes in time they'll just get over it.
Well, he said they're not willing to engage me. And I'm like, what does that mean? Not willing to engage you? That is,
we're back to the
not willing to follow my rules.
Also, not willing to call him up and grovel.
Yes, that too.
And be like, oh, so sorry, you were right. We never should have disagreed with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's really talking about. But he thinks he's just hoping.
Yes.
He's hoping that in time they'll get over it. Like that really works. That works well.
Yeah. Well, and so then, one of the things that Janelle asks him is, hey, do you mind? You're here. Can you hang some art? You're really good at hanging art, which is a very smart way of getting him to do things for you, Janelle. But then he launches into this whole thing of like, is this a test? Being married to 4 women, everything is a test. Pick me, do something for me. This is what plural marriage is like. I'm like, yeah. What did you think this was going to be? What did you think it was? You know what? That is being a parent, is pick me, do something for me. Me, that's like raising children is a lot of, focus on me. Like being in a relationship with someone is, you split your focus. and you
But
focus on someone else.
Yeah, and also I don't know if Janelle said that just because she's trying to make conversation because it's so awkward.
Uh-huh.
But when she said that, I thought to myself, no, Janelle, no, don't ask him to do anything for you. Because, number one, you don't even want him in your space. So don't encourage him to be in your space any longer than he has to be. And number two, look at you know what his reaction is going to be. We saw it. So I think I don't know if she was just nervous. It was like like trying to fill space. But no, we don't want Kody there hanging art. She has 2 sons who live nearby who are perfectly capable of coming over. And guess what? If they can't help you, just hire someone, Janelle.
Yeah.
You've got enough money. Hire someone to come over and hang your art and do all the little things that you need done, with mount the TV, whatever. It's like, be an independent woman. It's time.
Yeah. Well, old habits die hard. So, yeah, I mean, of course, Cody's wandering around. I mean, he's wanting to look at every room, and he really, in the back of his mind, I think when he drove over there, thought like, maybe there'll be a little section for me. Maybe, maybe he thinking that Janelle would be like, these are your drawers, Kody. Like, this is your half of the closet. So he's wandering around being like, oh, well, there's no room for me. So why is she showing me? I'm like, she's showing you, well, you have content for the show. But she's showing you because, you know what? You still have a child here. That's Savannah. This is where Savannah lives. Why don't you want to see it simply for Savannah? Isn't that enough for you?
Right.
It's unreal to me. I mean, and the other thing is, she went from, what is it? This new place is like 2,000 square feet or 1,500? 1,500. So this is 1,500, which is a lot. And again, a lot, about 400 more square feet than I have. And, he's getting into this whole thing about the land and, we can start building, a house. Like, let's build the house first and then you can do your casita later. And his whole thing with, now that you have this place that's 1,500 square feet, there's no way you would possibly want to go back to 1,200 square feet.
Yeah, there's no urgency. You got this place. There's no urgency for you to build a casita. Stay here where you are. And let's use your money. And then she even said that. She's like, I don't know what this we thing is.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's financing this. No, he wants her to take the money that she was going to use to build a casita and put it towards building a house for he and Robyn.
Oh, I didn't even pick that up.
Yes.
I was like, why is he talking about plans for the two of them? And I was so obsessed with the spacing and at how much space they had. And the fact that he kept saying, like, why do you build a 1,200 square foot casita on 2 acres of land? I'm like, because the woman doesn't want to clean up a 4,000 square foot home.
Well, and also that's all she can afford.
Yeah.
Just you're the idiot who wanted to buy all this land, like way more land than you ever need, and you're not going to do anything with, and it's like, no, because he says we could build a house. And she says, what we? He's talking about a house for him and Robyn. And then he says, yeah, Robyn and I, we still intend to build out there. And she says, well, you still have to pay off the land this year. I mean, he did the same thing to Meri. Remember when he wanted to build the barnuminium and put her in the loft?
Yes.
Like an animal.
He wants that MLM money. Like, he's like, oh crap, I need their MLM money. And they have money now. Now that he's seeing like these two have money.
He wants them to stay, help him pay off Coyote Pass, defer their dreams and whatever they want, to put all their money into building a house for him and Robyn, because they have to have a big house for all their kids,
They're tender-hearted children.
Even though 3 of them are over 18 and over 20. And I'm not saying they should be kicked out, but it's just kind of like, okay.
Well, the funniest thing too is Kody, again, goes back to that vision of the big family. And Nell's over here going, I only want to build it here because this is where my money is. Like, I need
this is all I have.
This is all I have. And she's like, yeah, and I can build a really, really high fence. Like, she literally wants to enclose herself in there. It's like, no, Kody, she does not want to see you. She didn't want to see you. She didn't want to see Robyn. She's fine with you guys being neighbors, but she does not need to see you any more than, hey, howdy, neighbor. And that's it.
And it's sad because the only money that she has left is whatever money she has invested in Coyote Pass. And she's just desperately trying to like squeeze, her little estate out of it.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's terrible. But yeah, Kody says, well, she says she doesn't see Kody in the equation. He says he doesn't feel welcome at her house. And it's like, yeah,
okay,
we're done.
Yeah.
This, this is it. Like you guys have like, it's come to an end.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and then once they've talked about all those things, it's like crickets. It was really, it was funny too. It was very uncomfortable and very weird. The three of them are just standing there staring at each other. And then Cody's like, oh God, okay, what am I going to, countertops. Well, this countertop is this color and this countertop's this color. Why do we think those countertops are different? And, oh, Savannah, did I ask you? How do you like it here? And what grade are you in again? And
how old are you?
Who are you? Wait, which kid are you? In what order? That was, but it is what's very telling about it is that, and this obviously happens with couples, lots of couples, where suddenly if you're not sharing a home and bills and children and day-to-day life with, you have nothing else to talk about. Like you have nothing else in common. But Cody's big reason is because he feels like, he can't talk about the other part of his life. So he has nothing to talk about. You can't talk about his life with Rob because, Janelle might, I don't know. Janelle might be jealous of something, which is so silly and insane.
Yeah, no, Janelle's not the jealous type. But, and then I love how Kody, he says that, he's been asking Janelle, why can't they reconcile? And he's just going to keep on asking, maybe again next week, he's just going to, so what, you're just going to keep asking her until she says yes?
But I don't even think he's asking her. I don't think he's asking her. I think he's doing what to Janelle, kind of what he did to Meri, which is he's telling us in confessionals.
Right.
In confessionals, he'll say, I don't want to be with Meri anymore. But to Meri's face, he's kind of like, okay, see you later, Meri, blah, 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 kind of keeping her loose. I think this is the same thing he's doing with Janelle. Like, I don't think he at all thought, she said it. He hasn't been calling. He hasn't been writing. He hasn't been texting. He hasn't been doing anything. Every couple weeks, he goes out to dinner with Savannah, and that is it. Mm-hmm. I don't think he is doing jack squat or saying any of that. So, But it's in his mind because he wants to reconcile or he's open to reconciling. That means that should be enough for Janelle.
Right.
The fact that he wants it.
And he only wants it to, for her money.
Yes. Well, that too.
Convinced.
Yeah. And, of course, but we get into this whole sister wife thing. So now Christine's no longer the bad sister wife because she's out. Now it's moved over to Janelle. Janelle's the bad sister wife because Kody says the reason Janelle doesn't want to reconcile, this is the new thing, is because she doesn't want to be around Robyn and Meri. And then he's like, well, I don't know about Meri, but he doesn't want to be around Robyn. And that's the deal. And that's the deal we made, is for you all to be around each other. And Janelle is like, I love how she's just cutting to the chase with stuff. I mean, she's really come into her own. She's just like, no, Kody uses an excuse to call me a bad sister wife as the reason. The reality is he has never come to her and said, I love you. I miss you. I want, he just wants his life to run smoothly.
Right. He wants this all to just smooth over and go away. And guess what? A year ago, when they were on the back porch and he was doing his knife in the kidneys thing, he was blaming Christine for not wanting to have a relationship with Robyn.
Yes.
Not wanting to be friends with Robyn, not being nice to Robyn. And now he's just turned it to Janelle.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be around Robyn. You don't want to, it's like, no, Kody, nobody wants to be around Robyn, but that's not really the point.
Except for you.
That's a secondary point. The main point is you suck as a husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely suck. You're a horrible husband to everybody except Robyn.
You're no Joe Dogger.
No.
But in Brooke's mind, no one's quite Joe Dogger.
No.
No one's as good as Joe.
How insulting. Don't even compare the two.
Yes, yes. And this is one of the things, it's kind of like, I don't understand why TLC doesn't find another polygamy show. Like, let's see some comparisons. Like, they picked this one family as a way of comparing them to I can't think of his name, the Keep Sweet.
Oh, Warren Jeffs.
Warren Jeffs. Yeah. Like as a difference between these kind of polygamists and Warren Jeffs group. But the thing is that it's like, it would be nice. Like, could we see some more people? Could we see the Doggers? Could we see anybody else? Like, I'd like to see, because it's very hard to know. Kody keeps telling us all this stuff, like, this is how this is. And Robyn's telling us this is how this is. But it's like,
she knows all these plural families. And it's like, well, where are they? And, they had that show on for a few years. It wasn't very many seasons, that My Five Wives.
Mm-hmm.
It went off the air because it was so boring, because the husband was really nice. This guy Brady, he was really nice, and he was very, at least from what I could tell from the show, not like Kody. He's not like a, narcissist, braggadocious showboat. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He was just kind of this normal, nice guy trying to do the best he could, and it was boring.
Yeah.
And then like with the Doggers, I think they're kind of a mix of boring, but they have some controversy to them, because I guess there's, people say stuff about them. But that's the problem. Like, it has to be entertaining. So there has to be some element of dysfunction.
Yes. Unfortunately, with these reality shows, there has to be some
reality television works.
There has to be some level. Well, not it dysfunction, but even problems, issues, topics, things to talk about, like things happening, that kind of thing.
Well, women, what is the future of this show? Because we were talking about this the other day. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a season 19, because now Kody is, he's getting out there and he's talking. He gave that interview to the Mormon.
Did you at all listen to? I haven't listened to it at all. I think I was just like, it's going to frustrate me, so I'm not going to listen to it.
I saw some clips of it on TikTok, and it's just typical Kody, like talking like he knows everything, talking, like he's this religious scholar. He does talk about like what went wrong with his family, but of course none of it's his fault. It's just the same. It's the same kind of stuff that we hear from him in these confessionals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just classic Kody, and it's like, where do we go from here? So Christine's gone. Meri seems to be gone. Janelle, we all know now that they're all gone. It's just him and Robyn. What is the show going to be about? And, the stuff like with Christine, well, I guess everyone wants to see her marriage and all that kind of stuff. But, that's kind of, it's sort of fun to see, but it's also sort of boring too. Because they're just a couple happy people.
Mm-hmm.
What is there to really, and I don't know that besides McKelty, I don't think that any of the adult children really have a taste for this or really want to be involved in the show. I think it's really, I really don't know. I think they're going to finish season 18, and then I think they're going to do a wedding special with Christine, because everyone wants to see that. And then I think that's it.
Okay. That's Brooke's prediction. Yeah. I mean, you could be right. I mean, obviously, what we're seeing, there was so much excitement going into this season, and it's just so disappointing to see how and it's just like, what is wrong with this production company? Like, why can't you produce? You've had a different amount of episodes every single season. This is not a network show that has to produce 22 episodes in a season. They have an order to fill. You obviously have different different numbers of things. And it's almost this weird thing where I feel like they sold it to TLC, like, oh my God, this is so juicy. This is 18. I think we need at least 20 episodes, right? And they gave them this order or something, as opposed to like being able to say, okay, we're going to make 8 really good quality shows where there's lots of information, lots of good stuff, lots of momentum, and it's not all over the place. But I don't know. Here we are. We keep showing up for it.
Yeah, but it's been disappointing, and it's this week was better because there was more like original content. But there was several weeks in there where it was just week after week of just like no content and flashbacks and confessionals, and it's like, this is boring.
Yeah.
So,
well, but the episode's not over yet, Brooke, because, well, the camera crew left Parowan, but Meri has to go back on her own and film all this herself.
Oh, we're back to the iPhone where she has to like get the trees.
Yes, she's got to deal with the trees. 2 of her 3 trees have to be taken down. And you know what? I did learn something new in this episode. Meri loves trees. I didn't know she loved trees.
Well, there's been some controversy about that because first she wanted to be in the trees, then she didn't want to be in the trees. When they were picking the plots on Coyote Pass.
Yes.
So,
oh God. And then the next thing is she says, this is everyone's picking up Robyn's language because Kody at one point said safe space. That's not safe. And then now she's saying the B&B is my safe space. I'm like, okay, she's just bleeding all over you guys. Just okay. It's a little much. Yeah. So, and then she does give us a little more clarity on that conversation they had on our anniversary. Like she replays what they said, but it's interesting because he did say, like Kody said to her, I don't want to move backwards. Like, I don't want to be with you and I don't want to move backwards. And she said, which I thought was very right on, which is neither do I. I want, like, we are different people. So can we at least try to get to know each other as we are today and see if there's some there? And he was like, no, that's it. Like, and then we get to hear from everybody about how Kody and Meri were the it couple. They were really, that's what attracted Christine to Kody, was the fact that Meri and
they did seem very happy in the beginning.
Yeah. Janelle says they were attached as a couple and they did things together and all of that. We see clips from their 20th anniversary and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, everybody said that. So I don't think it's a crazy thing to ask and say, we once had all these feelings for each other. Let's see who we are today at middle age now. And our children are grown. Let's see what this is like. And he was just like, nope.
Well, but it's not crazy. He's not in love with her anymore. He hasn't been for a long time. It's been so long. He just couldn't be honest with her. He is in love with Robyn exclusively. And he was stringing the rest of them along, and so you
don't think he wants to reconcile with Janelle, or he just wants Janelle? I get the sense, right? I get the sense that he does want to be with Janelle, but is it like he wants to be with Janelle because she was his buddy?
Because all she required of him was being friends with benefits.
Yeah, that's true. And she's a good piece of money.
And she's a good earner, and she has money. He does not want to get to know her anew, in middle age. He does not want to try with Meri. He hasn't wanted to try with Meri in a very long time. And come on, he has told her. To Kody's, I'm going to defend Kody here for a minute. Kody has told Meri so many times. You could argue that maybe it wasn't. Well, no. I've seen all these clips of him telling her directly, I'm not coming. I'm not going to be with you. I'm not going to do. He's like, I'm not going to kick you out of our family. You can still be part of the Brown family and you can still be part of holidays and whatever. I'm not going to say you're not part of our family, but he has told her for the last at least 10 years or more that he does not want to be in a intimate romantic relationship with her. So for her to keep saying, well, why don't you just, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I just feel for Meri. And I just felt like,
Meri,
God, I mean, she just kept trying and trying and trying. And I was like, okay, that's a good argument, Meri. And I'm like, but you're right. You're right. You're right.
That's her own shortcoming. She should should think more of herself.
Yes.
Than to do that. And I think she now finally has. Thank God.
I think
she deserves better. She does not, I mean, and that's the thing. We talked about this last week about how, when you're raised like this in this culture and you never date and you marry the first guy that you court after 6 months and you've never, been broken up with before, and you think you're supposed to be together forever, and you think you're in this sacred covenant, forever and ever through eternity, and you're so brainwashed to all that, then I guess, it's pretty hard to let go of that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Reality is reality. You have to let go, whether it's hard or not. It's like, this is what's happening. It's kind of like, you're pregnant and you start having a baby and you're like, no, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's no turning back. It is happening. Like,
yes,
you can't stop it from happening by saying, I don't want this to go. Anyway.
Well, but listen, Meri, she cut down the trees and she realized that it wasn't as bad and it's not what she feared. And
right.
And so basically, first the trees, then Kody. You can do it, Meri. We believe in you.
And she's done it. She's done it in real life, in real time. I mean, this is so far back. We don't know when this was filmed. But she has done it. She has moved on. Mm-hmm. Thankfully. So
yes, they've all moved on. So that was the episode. I mean, it definitely was better than last week, but it's still just little dots of information and maybe a clarification, like we'll tell you a little bit more about this conversation between Meri and Kody. Okay, now we'll tell you a little bit more about this conversation, as opposed to all of it. Like, can we just hear all of it at once?
The conversations need to stop. Mm-hmm. We need to see the ball moving down the field. We need to see Janelle and Meri moving on. Christine's moving on. She's dating. It's like everybody's moving on. And now Kody and Robyn are going to have to deal with, just deal with each other and deal with their lives. Robyn's the one who's going to have the hardest time.
Yeah. Robyn might have a job. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
She might have to get a job. No, I'm serious. Might have to get a job.
But they keep spending money, on these expensive paintings and jewelry and shopping and this and that. I mean,
I heard something. Did I read this, or I don't know how this got into my brain, but that Kody apparently buys art as a way of kind of like hiding the money.
Well, what McKelty said on her Patreon was she said that Kody believes in buying art as an investment. Okay, well, that's all fine and good and everything, but that's only if you actually have extra money to invest. He still owes a couple $100,000, between, I don't know what the balance was on the loan at that point, but I feel like it was somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000, at least somewhere in there, that he owed on Coyote Pass, that he had a finite time, he had to pay it off, that year, or he would lose the property. So if you have that and you're losing all these income streams from these clients who are leaving, then investing $10,000 in a painting, you don't really have the luxury of doing that.
Yes.
So he's not good with money. Clearly, we've seen it. We've seen a million examples.
But can I ask you? So you're well, he's not legally married to any of these women, but except for Robyn. Yeah, but I mean, so what would be I'm wondering, is he buying all this art and all this stuff as a way of like almost draining the bank account? So it's like, I don't have anything. So there's nothing for us to divide. Sorry.
Possibly, right. Because Robyn's the only one with any legal claim, because when he divorced Meri, at that point, they would have had to divide whatever assets that they had. Because a divorce isn't finalized till it's all final, So however many years ago that was, they did whatever they were going to do. So from that point on until today, whatever Kody and Robyn have acquired in their names belongs to them and them alone. And that's why Janelle is so screwed. And Christine, she lucked out because, okay, when they first moved to Flagstaff, Christine bought that house and the down payment came from family money. And originally she and Kody were both on the title. But what happened was, this is my understanding, is that when Robyn and Kody went to go buy their house, Kody was too overextended credit-wise because he was on this other mortgage. So he had to quit claim his interest. I don't think he was on the mortgage. I think he was just on the title, but that still means you're that's your asset, whether you're paying for it or not on paper. So he quit claimed any interest he had in the property in order to get the credit to the point where they could buy that house where they live now. Well, that came back to bite him in the ass. And
yes, it did.
Blessing to Christine, because Christine was able to sell that house by herself without Kody needing Kody at all. And she took the entire profit and left with it.
Yeah.
And then she quit claimed any interest that she had in Coyote Pass to Kody and said, we're straight. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing really he could do about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
because,
true.
They don't have anything in writing. And, Cody's not going to go to court, and try to enforce some sort of oral promise or whatever. So, she lucked out. And Meri had that asset, the inn, and also she always had more money because she got
the same amount, which I think is so insane.
Else,
but
okay,
I think
she just kind of squirreled away. So Janelle was just the one who's just royally screwed.
Yeah, I think it's Janelle being too accommodating. I'm with you now with this whole Janelle to like rise up and kick Kody out and he doesn't even need to come by kind of thing, because you're right. I think she has been so accommodating to everyone. I think that's her personality. I think that's, who she is. And she's been doing this for a long, long time, and it screwed her out of property. It screwed her out of everything. And so, yeah, right now she really does just need to get away from these people that are sucking the life from her and just put her head down and work, which I assume she's doing. I mean, listen, did you see that Christine and Janelle and David Woolley, they all went on a cruise, a Plexus cruise, and then Janelle shows us her room. I'm like, this is huge.
She has an executive suite.
Yes. I'm like, oh my God, you must be doing really well.
She's in the top 10%.
Yes.
She got her own suite. I know.
That thing was huge. Brooke and I have cruised a lot, and our rooms are never that big.
No.
I mean, maybe a balcony, but God, like and a little more space, but that's it. Jeez, that's a huge room.
No, she's doing fine on her own, but I'm sorry, she still deserves to get a piece out of Coyote Pass. And, I don't know, maybe it's just not her personality, because, she probably could find a lawyer who would, sue Kody, try to get some money out of it. But I can't see her doing that. But maybe if enough time goes by and she gets pissed off enough and Kody does some stuff that, screws her over even more, maybe, because where we see her now in the show, she's just now getting out of this relationship.
Yeah.
So she's hasn't quite built up the strength and the anger that it takes to go sue him.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that.
Well, can the family can everyone get together and sue the two of them for, like, the kids? Kids apparently have no claim on anything, right?
No.
Because they were on this show and they were minors. But once they became 18, was Puddle Monkey paying Kody everything, and that covered for the kids? And is that fair?
The thing is, this is all based on contract law. So if they are adults and they don't have a contract with the production company, they don't have a contract. They don't have the right to any of it. When Kody signed a contract with the production company, he couldn't legally obligate his adult children to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Duggar family, like, I don't know, like,
that whole thing's a mess. Yeah.
How Jim Bob, that's the thing. If you have adult children, you can't obligate them to do anything, but he must have said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll get them to do this. And the production company just took the risk. So I don't know, but it's all based on contract law. It's like, who has a contract with who? Because if you don't have a contract or an agreement, then you don't have a basis to sue anybody. You have to have an agreement. And it can be written, it can be oral. Certain contracts have to be in writing. Certain ones don't. You know, it's very fact specific, and we don't know the facts of all this. But no, like these adult kids didn't have contracts because we barely saw them.
Mm-hmm.
I think people like McKelty just come on the show because she just likes the attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess so. And I mean, it's like your mother's birthday party. So Isabel and Aspen are like, okay, fine. Right. I'm going to come party, of course. And I'm not going to be a jerk and be like, don't film me. Don't film me.
Right. Well, but there is there's this loophole that's coming out now that when the kids are minors and the parents sign these contracts to be on these shows, the minors, they're just kind of there. You know what I mean? They're not contractually bound. They're not getting anything, but this is their home. These are their parents. They're just there. So obviously they are going to be in the show. And I guess they could go lock themselves in their room and not come out, but then they have to deal with their parents. So it's kind of a sick kind of relationship. You have to do this thing to please your parents because it's also part of your livelihood. And the parents, the parents tell them, like, we need this money. Like, want a new bike? you gotta come out and film with us. You know?
Well, Heather McDonald always talks about this on Juicy Scoop about these kids, like these parenting media, social media influencer, mommy blogger types that are parading their children out and like, oh, little Timmy peed the bed till 10. You know, isn't that funny? Like, sort of like, airing your kids' dirty laundry and embarrassing them for, forever and ever and ever. For content so that you can be a social media influencer. It's like, it's where's the line? Like, when does it become abuse? Because you're right. The kids are in a really, really tough spot because, if they do hide, then they have to deal with their parents. And that was the whole thing with the Duggar family. I mean, this is what Jill is talking about. Jill Duggar, who wrote the book, really that Jim Bob, they were so almost like a cult. Like they were so brainwashed and so like, I have to obey him. Right. So, and it's almost kind of like, what's TLC? I don't know. There's a part of me, it's like, what's there's responsibility about this? Like, does this seem okay to you? Like, that he's screwing these kids over. I was, because I've heard Jill on a couple shows and it's made me, obviously we're here watching this TLC show, but I don't know who the production company is for the Duggars. I think it's more on them than TLC, but that is really, what are the ethics there? And what's the legality there as a producer of a show? And you see, I don't know if it's fraud. I don't know what to call it. Like, if you see this happening, that doesn't seem right at all.
No, it doesn't. And I think that it's a big problem in reality TV. And it's not just TLC. I mean, the housewives, their children get caught up in stuff. Yeah, I don't feel like there are a lot of rules to protect minors on these television shows. And that's a problem.
Yeah. I don't know, this whole reality reckoning and all of this stuff.
Maybe that should be part of Bethany's reality reckoning.
Yeah, maybe.
Justice for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's as long as there are ways to make money in other ways, as long as it gives you a certain amount of celebrity and allows you to have a platform, people are going to continue to do these reality shows for whatever money they're going to give them. And parents are going to continue to do this. Like, it doesn't end until like, someone comes in and says, we can't do this anymore. So Maybe it's Bethany. I don't know. I just laugh because that the whole reckoning that she's been talking about was kind of like a thud. It was a wah, wah, wah. The article came out. It basically talked about a couple people and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That these people, they like the attention. They don't want to mess with anything. They want to keep this going. This is like as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. Well,
so
we've got enough problems to solve. We can't solve this too.
I'll leave that to Bethany to figure out. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We are, continuing Sister Wives on Tuesdays, and on Thursdays we are doing documentaries. And so this Thursday we have a really good documentary it's called Get Gotti, about John Gotti, the infamous mobster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on Netflix. It's a really, really good documentary. So check it out. Listen to the podcast if you are into stuff like that. And if you like our podcast, please subscribe and please go to Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. We would really appreciate that. Appreciate your support. And we are on social media at Psych Legal Pop on Instagram and TikTok.
All right. That's all the announcements.
That's all the announcements.
We got it.
Did I get it?
Yeah, you seemed very belabored by it. Like, you're like forcing it up a hill. Like, God.
It's getting late. I'm tired.
Yes. It's late. So, it is. You're right.
Time to go.
I know. I need to eat dinner, and I think I forgot to eat lunch today. It's not good.
No. It's not
so
good.
I need to go eat dinner and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
all right.
We need to go, but thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye. Everybody.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew. So give me my good friends, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.